Hello and welcome to UK Crime Caught on Camera. In this episode we're looking at dangerous driving, street attacks and drug raids. Here we see how a courageous Sheffield homeowner pinned a burglar down to the sofa while waiting for police to arrive. The homeowners were alerted to the burglar's presence after he switched on a downstairs light. They called 999 and police arrived on scene 10 minutes later. The burglar was arrested and he immediately admitted his guilt to officers. He was sentenced to 2 years and 6 months in prison. Police body cam footage shows the moment a man's wife dobbed him in for drink driving.
Whose car is this? Your car. Does he have a driving licence? No, does he have a driving licence? Your boat? No.
Thank you for calling.
Does he have a
Please
driving
enter your 6-digit client ID.
No.
She's drunk.
He's drunk, yeah. Yeah,
A 999 call was made by a member of the public who had been driving behind a Ford Galaxy in Wisbech and was concerned about the manner of driving. Police found the car in Leverington and stopped to speak with the driver outside his home. The driver was arrested after his wife came outside and told officers that he was drunk and only had a provisional driving licence. He was disqualified from driving for 2 years and must complete 90 hours of unpaid work. In this clip, we see a London drug dealer bragging about his criminal activity by referring to himself as Pablo Escobar.
And I'm still rolling like Pablo, cuz. There's only one Pablo out here, cuz.
The man was arrested after police found a large quantity of crack cocaine and heroin and £60,000 in cash at properties linked
to him. Been arrested, so you've been interviewed about this on tape at a police station. Also, to prevent any loss of any evidence that may be here.
He was sentenced to 9.5 years in prison for being concerned in the supply of Class A drugs. Dashcam footage shows the moment an ex-police officer struck a woman over the head with a shovel. A passing driver was forced to jump out of his car and restrain her to stop the attack, which took place in Monkswood. She had earlier entered the woman's home who was known to her and punched her in the face and hit a man on the head with a poker. She was sentenced to 6 years and 2 months in prison. This footage shows the moment police discovered a 1,600 plant cannabis farm worth over £350,000 on the site of a former restaurant in Nuneaton. Officers found the property had been fortified against entry and the inside had been damaged during its conversion to a cannabis farm. Lights and ventilation had been installed with extensive electrics running on abstracted power. An old bathroom was also covered in an excessive amount of spent soil. During the raid, an officer spotted the man on the roof where it's believed he was trying to escape. The man was given a 20-month prison sentence suspended for 18 months. Here we see a driver losing control and smashing into oncoming traffic. Despite the wet conditions, he attempted to overtake a HGV, moving into a dedicated turning lane for opposing traffic to do so. He pulled his vehicle back into his own lane to avoid crashing into a central island. However, he lost control and fishtailed across the path of oncoming traffic before striking the front of an oncoming Mitsubishi. In the 3-car collision, the driver, his wife and mother-in-law suffered multiple lacerations and fractures. The driver of the Mitsubishi also sustained fractures, as did the passenger of a Kia Rio. The driver was sentenced to 2 years in custody, suspended for 2 years, tagged for 3 months and ordered to pay a £2,000 fine. He was also banned from driving for 3 years and ordered to take an extended test. Here we see a thief stealing a bike in the space of 30 seconds. He can be seen cycling over to a bike rack and removing the lock from the bike before walking away with it. The incident happened in Huntingdon. The thief was sentenced to 8 weeks in prison, suspended for a year. Dashcam footage shows the moment a man sped at 70 mph in a 40 mph zone and drove on the wrong side of the road. In Liverpool, police began following a blue Nissan Juke with suspected cloned registration plates.
And he's still contract, and I've still got him in sight. He's probably doing about 50-60 miles an hour.
The man failed to stop, and after driving on the wrong side of the road, officers carried out a tactical stop of the vehicle. The driver tried to flee on foot, but was detained by 2 officers. He was sentenced to 30 months in prison. In this footage, we see how a lorry driver crashed after being distracted by his phone. The driver can be seen looking down at his phone before swerving on the A55 in Wales and crashing into bushes. He collided with a broken down car and narrowly avoided hitting 3 people and a dog standing on a grass verge. He was given an 8-month suspended prison sentence, 150 hours of unpaid work, a 3-month curfew and a 12-month driving disqualification. This footage shows police entering the property of a sleeping drug dealer before waking and handcuffing him. The man was arrested at his home in Cambridge and his mobile phone was found to contain text messages to other gang members linked to drug dealing. He was sentenced to 3 years and 8 months in prison. This CCTV footage shows the moment a man used a dog lead to punch his victim in the head. After a verbal altercation with the man, he removed his dog's lead from its collar, wrapped it around his hand and punched him. The victim fell backwards, hitting his head on a curb and losing consciousness. He was taken to hospital where it was found he had a significant bleed on the brain and a skull fracture. The assault happened in Bangor, North Wales. The attacker was sentenced to 1 year and 11 months in prison. Dashcam footage shows a dangerous driver narrowly avoiding hitting a woman with a pram as he drives through a pedestrianised area during a police chase. The disqualified driver was spotted behind the wheel and was followed by police in and around Sutton. He drove on the wrong side of the road, mounted a curb to overtake other road users, drove through red lights and reached speeds of more than 70 mph in 30 mph zones. After abandoning the vehicle in a pub car park, the driver hid in heavy shrubbery but was found by a police dog. He was sentenced to 14 months in prison. In this drone footage, we see how a drug dealer jumped out of a back bedroom window in an attempt to evade arrest. A police investigation revealed that the man had been running 2 drug lines dealing crack cocaine and heroin. When officers conducted a warrant at his home address, the man was seen discarding drugs out of the first floor window before jumping and running away. He was found hiding in a neighbour's garden and was arrested. He was sentenced to 4 years and 4 months in prison. Here, a driver knocks down a cyclist and leaves the victim lying on the roadside. The cyclist was taken to hospital in Swansea, where he had his leg amputated. The driver sold the car to try and hide her involvement in the incident, but after extensive inquiries, she was identified and arrested. The driver was sentenced to 3 years and 9 months in prison for causing serious injury by careless driving and perverting the course of justice. Here, we see a driver inexplicably stopping in the middle of a busy motorway. The incident happened on the M4 between Membury and Junction 15 for Swindon. The driver's actions meant lorries were forced to swerve around the vehicle. Witnesses called the police, and on their arrival, the driver was suspected of being under the influence of drink or drugs. Tests revealed she had ketamine in her blood at more than 10 times the legal limit for driving. The driver was disqualified from driving for 2 years, fined £1,200, required to pay a surcharge of £480 and court costs of £85. CCTV shows the moment a prolific thief crept into a Tesco store he was banned from and stole boxes of chocolates. The thief had a criminal behaviour order in place, banning him from every Tesco in Cambridgeshire. He did the same thing 2 days later and attempted to enter the store again, but was stopped by a security guard who he threatened to knock out. He was sentenced to 36 weeks in prison. This shocking footage shows thieves on electric motorbikes snatching mobile phones from the public in London. The individuals involved aggressively rode their bikes on pavements and approached their victims at high speeds, creating an intimidating environment that made it difficult for people to react or escape. 32 mobile phones were recovered, with 30 of them successfully returned to their rightful owners. The total estimated value of the stolen phones amounted to over £20,000. A man was sentenced to 3.5 years imprisonment, while a teenager was sentenced to 6 months, and another teenager given a 9-month supervision requirement. Thanks for watching another episode of UK Crime Court on Camera. If you're watching us on shottertv.com or Freeview, thanks so much for supporting our channel. Stay tuned for more authentic UK television coming up. Thanks for watching.